Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Veg Networking Canada. We are a community where vegan plant-based companies connect and collaborate. It is important to honor, acknowledge, and respect that many of us are located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of many Indigenous peoples of Canada. Today, we have a special guest. She is an entrepreneur with a background in accounting and the electrical trades. A champion for family memories, especially in the kitchen, born into an entrepreneurial family with an innate desire to carve her own path. Veg Networking Canada is pleased to introduce the founder of Panela Lemon. Welcome, Marilyn Cordoba.
Hello, thanks for having me here today.
Well, thank you for joining us, and let's dive in. For everybody who's with us live right now and everybody who will be listening later on at their own time, we always start with the same first question. What is your personal vegan plant-based origin story?
Well, I think that I've been vegan for about 5 years. I tried previously to that. It was just an on and off until I finally could stick to the diet. So far it has been about 5 years. I think it was more like a by choice, just because I wanted to do it. I have that connection with animals, and I don't feel like hurting them. So that was one of the things that why I decided to go vegan. I grew up actually in a family where my father had a farm and he was raising cows for meat. And we have always meat all the time. And I never felt that that was for me. Even my body wasn't very good with meat. It has never been. I can digest that very well. So it was kind of a good transition for me and for my body to go vegan.
Amazing. Okay. So about 5 years or so, and then a little bit of a journey before that. So switching gears a little bit, can you tell us more about your entrepreneurial spark and how that started? And we talked about in the intro, you're born of an entrepreneurial family. We'll get more into what you're currently doing with Panela Lemon, but you have a background in what seems to be so random in accounting and electrical trades. And so there's a lot to your entrepreneurial story, it sounds like, at least. So can you tell everybody a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so in general, my family was always involved. They always have their own business. My father with his farm, my mother, she always was involved into the food industry. And since I was a kid, I was always helping her. I work since I'm very little, so and I kind of love what she was doing. I am not very good at cooking and things like that, but I love the industry, and I saw myself doing something related to that. So that is something that I saw when I was younger that I wanted to be involved with. So when I moved to Canada, well, previous that, I studied accounting just because I wanted to have more knowledge about businesses. I had the financial part of a business. It was always like a focus on that, which has been so far very useful for me lately. Have saved me a lot of money just because I can do things. Then when I moved to Canada, I didn't have a very strong financial situation on my side. So I had to get some money if I wanted to get continue with my business or my idea by then. And I just met this person who told me about the Women in Trades program. And that is how I decided, just because you didn't need a background in that area. And the job itself was very well paid. Money is what I needed by then, and I'm not afraid of working with my hands. So I thought, yeah, could be a great idea. I tried, and I did it for about I think 3 years and a half. I never finished that. It wasn't something for me. It was just something that I wanted to do because I had a goal in mind. So I met wonderful people in there. I learned so many things that I've been able to apply to my business. And also I got the money that I needed to start the business. So I was able to invest in marketing initially and the branding and everything else. So it was a huge help. So I don't regret having done that. I learned a lot of things um, that has been very helpful as well in the business, and to know the places where I'm going to work, the machines that I need, everything related with electricity that I just had an idea of how it gets done. So yeah, that was what it was related to in general.
Interesting.
And then I just decided that I wanted to continue with my dream, and I just did it. That's all.
Very, very modest. And, you know, I said seemingly random, but when you talk more about your story, it's very calculated and kind of almost touches on the last question that we'll talk about, um, which is like wisdom, lessons, and tips. But, you know, you had a goal. And so working through what you were working through was probably more enjoyable because you were very clear on why you were doing it, what you were doing, and what the end goal was. That's very interesting, and thank you so much for sharing that story. Now,
Thanks.
in terms of Panela Lemon, um, I guess you can talk first a little bit about the name, what that actually means,
Mhm.
which really helps consumers identify with brands when they really know what a brand stands for and what it means. And then if you could just tack on to that, where is your brand going in the future?
Mhm. So the name of the company, the Panela name comes from the sugar, one of the sugars that we use. I grew up, I'm from Colombia. So in Colombia is very popular, Panela sugar. You have it on everything. Like everywhere you go, they will offer you a lemonade sweetened with panela. So that is one of the main things of the name. And then the lemon, I just wanted to have an extra background from myself. And one of the better uses of that you see in Colombia using panela sugar, that everyone uses that to sweeten lemonade, is that most of the areas are pretty hot. So you will usually have a refreshment all the time. And that has been, at least in my family, it was a common thing to do. So I wanted to bring that. And beside that, I love I'm addicted to lemons. So so I think that I just wanted to put a little bit of my background and my country and everything in there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so Panilla Lemon, you can, I guess, walk us up to speed on how things started, where you're at today, and then the question is, where is your brand going in the
Yes.
future?
Yeah. So I just started doing like very small batches of cookies once I got the recipes. And then I started doing online business, um, wholesale. That is what I've been doing. And that is one of the things that I want to focus in the future. Just keep growing into the retail business with our cookie dough, probably with the cookies as well. And in the food service business, mainly with the cookies. That is the goal. Just keep growing, hopefully in a lot of places in BC. And then keep going the same uh, across Canada if possible. And the also the online sales. I think that is a good uh, opportunity for me. It's something that we already do, and I would like eventually to invest more time and money into that, just because there is a good opportunity in this case for the cookies. They ship well. They have a good shelf life, so they're light as well. So that works pretty well for me.
Excellent, excellent. And, you know, we'll share your website and Instagram when we give you your outro at the end of this conversation. But in the meantime, would you like to share with people listening what's different about Panela lemon cookies, and for those who have never seen them or tried them?
Yes, so in general, they're not just cookies. They have a filling. That is one of the main difference for a regular cookie. And again, they are vegan. They are made with gluten-free ingredients. Um, Also, the ingredients that I try to use, um, I try to use very clean ingredients. We sweeten the cookies with natural sugars. In this case, vanilla sugar, coconut sugar, something that is more natural. We want to keep into that, even though for the cookie dough as well. So all everything we don't use white sugar to sweeten our cookies, and so that is one of the things that is a little bit different from competition. We don't use sweet sugar alcohols or things like that. So we try to make it more natural, something that you can enjoy, and that that will give you a little bit of pleasure without feeling too bad.
Well, again, you're modest again. You say a little bit of pleasure. I would say a lot of pleasure. And it's nice to know that they
That's good.
ship. It's nice to know that they ship
Yeah.
well and they have a good shelf life and everything like that for people across the country. And in the future, maybe down into the US and stuff like that to get their hands on them and their taste buds on them, because they are very special. So in your industry, which is, very interesting, you're talking about cookie dough and cookies, which is an industry, and then another layer is plant-based vegan. So you can speak to it from the specificity of plant-based vegan cookie dough and cookies, or maybe on a broader category, CPG or whatnot. But the question is, what are some transformations or trends in your industry?
Well, I think that I'm not specific to a trend related to the product itself, but how the things that we use in the product. So what I've seen in the past, trends that were low fat, right now is zero sugar, and it's not something that I agree with personally, just because to be zero sugar, you need to replace that with other things that are not so good to make it sweet. And my idea of living, or my rules are, you can enjoy something sweet that is naturally sweet, like my product, just don't overdo it. So that is one of the things that I've seen just coming right now, is the zero sugar. You can eat just less or reduce the sugar amount, like what we did with our cookie dough, and trying to compete with that and being stable throughout this whole time. Just because you can see from history, um, people, for example, were doing low fat everything, and eventually, a few years later, they realized that it wasn't a very good idea. Everything changed back, and now it started with, again, low sugar. So I think that it might be the same thing. So I just try to stick to the things that I know, and I try to control how much you should eat in my case, and I just enjoy life in that way without replacing everything for something else that we don't know. Is this the sugars that we use, for example, are very natural, and I am very familiar with the panela sugar just because I know how it is made, and it's literally you just take the juice from the cane sugar and slowly cook it to reduce the water content, and that's it. Once you get the sugar from that, so there is not a huge process into that. And that is what I want to transfer to my products. So something more natural, just control the portions. I give you the portion in my products, and I just enjoy it and have more, I don't know, balance life.
Yeah, and it's actually, I guess, pertinent for this discussion right now. For people listening, might not know that commonly white sugar is filtered through animal bone char. So they might be thinking that they're eating something vegan or plant-based, but when you again peel back some of the layers, you're not. And so it's interesting to hear about the processing of Panela sugar and how simple it is. And so thank you for sharing that. Okay, so feel free before you answer the next one if there is any other transformations or trends, but if not, the next question is about charity and giving back. So we've had special guests before talk about what that means and what their company does in terms of giving back and charity, or what it means to them, and or what it means to them personally when it comes to charity and giving back. What does that mean? All those different things. So that's the next question about charity and giving back.
Yes, in my case, we not only give money to charity things, we also do things in the company. So first, in related to companies, we donate for Vancouver Humane Society. This is an annual event where they try to raise money to help animals and all things like that related. So we try to collaborate with them always. Anytime that somebody asks us, it's not something that we do it every month, but if someone asks us for help with donation with product to for an event to support whatever people or animals, we have done that. We don't do much publicity about it, we just do it. In regards to the company itself, internally, I know that we are not perfect. It has been a long ride and it's expensive to run a small business. So we try to do what we can at that moment. So right now, what I've done is try to make the process of making the products very sustainable to avoid waste at all cost. So that has been a pretty good thing. Whatever we make, we use, so we don't waste anything. The products pretty well, so that is a good thing. Even though we have products that we can't sell, we use them for demos or for donations or whatever, and we just don't waste the product. So that is one of the good things that we have done internally. We try, my goal personally is to eventually don't use plastic with the cookies. But again, I need a huge investment for that. So eventually, I think I will be able to do it. I have done it with the cookie dough just because the cups are made from paper, and the paper comes from sustainable sources and also from recycled paper pulp as well. So that is a good thing. Those are and also for online orders, we try to donate $1 to plant a tree. You can choose a lot of places where to do it, but since I am selling here mainly in BC, I think that it's a good idea to invest again into BC. So we have that program just to donate the money to plant trees in BC.
That's a great.
I think that's a few things that we have done.
Yeah, no, and sorry to cut you off. If there's more, you can cut me right off and keep going. That's so great. And that's why we frame the question as charity and giving back, because charity is sort of, whether it's changing in or has already changed in perception, it means different things to different people. And I think a lot of people now are starting to view the way that they give back might be, like you said, monetarily and giving money, but also all these different ways that we can help the planet, help people, help animals. And inherently, like your company and other companies and guests that we talk to, it's already baked in to Veg Networking Canada. The people that we're talking to are already doing an amazing job at giving back anyway. So thank you so much for sharing all of those different versions of the way that Panela Lemon gives back, because those are all interesting. So thank you so much. And now, when it comes to resources, you can think websites, documentaries, books, apps on your phone, of course, podcasts, whatever it might be. Obviously, there's so many different resources, and it might be particular to business, whether that's marketing or finance, or it might be something to do with veganism or health or what have you. So just kind of take that question. The purpose of the question is, what are some resources that have helped Marilyn that somebody else listening might be able to pick up on and go, oh, that might help me too?
Yeah, well, I have an advantage, and it's that I also speak Spanish very well. So mostly I have been listening to podcasts in Spanish, coming from people in Spain about books for business owners in general. They just give a bunch of books, they read it, and they give you key points, and then based on that, you can read the book or not. There is another person in Chile. They do videos on YouTube about business owners, and is that has been great to know. Sometimes you think that the things that you go through is only you, but then you realize that so many people are going through that, and they tell their story, and they give you advice on what they have done. So that is very nice. In regards to books, I do have some in English, and when you're gonna start, I think that is a very good one from Michael Gerber. They have a bunch of series of books, and I thought that was all his books are really good. He tells you a few things about starting the business, um, how should you run it eventually, and how to set up goals and everything. So if you're not very familiar with that, or just going to start a business, that's very helpful. I found it.
Okay. Gracias por computar. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
can give you the yeah, sorry, I can give you the links for the podcast that I listen, mainly for businesses. It's just that it's something that I do in Spanish. Like I felt like it was there was a deeper connection for me. So I just kept doing it. And yeah, unfortunately it's not in English, but if there is a person running a business that speaks Spanish, I think that it would be very helpful. And
exactly.
also the other one from YouTube. So I think that for me it has been very helpful emotionally to run the business, because you gotta give a lot of yourself into this. And I think that is one of the best things that I have done.
Incredible. And that's very powerful too, right? Because there's going to be somebody listening to this who is dominant in Spanish or whatnot. And so that's great. That's helpful. And yeah, you're right. Tapping into your roots and building yourself up, because a lot of people are their business. That's invaluable. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing, and pardon my terrible Spanish. So in terms of inspiration, we've had special guests in the past talk about philosophically what inspiration means to them, and or they like literally mention individuals or organizations or whatever that inspire them. And so the question put to you, Marilyn, is what does inspiration mean to you, and how do you source it?
I don't think that I have kind of inspiration. For me, it's just um, consistency of doing something. Just keep consistent, and then just ideas come to you if you keep doing the job. Just being what is the word? Anyways, just do it all the time. Just keep in there no matter what. And I think that that is where the inspiring things for me come. For example, in the case of the cookies, I don't have these crazy ideas that come to me. "Oh, I'm gonna do this new thing." It's just something that I've been working in the past and doing. For example, making something healthier that was just for me. I see a version of, let's say, a cookie, and I just wanted to make it for me that I want to eat it. So I try to find a way, or the ingredients that I'm familiar with, that I feel comfortable with, and I do it. I make the change, and I work until I get it. And that is one of the things that I did with the cookies. I just found this product that I really wanted to eat. I saw them on social media, and I thought, I can't eat that. It's not something that I feel good about eating. Just they literally make me feel bad, and I just kept applying the same thing that I was doing in the past. And once I have that goal, you just keep working and working until you get it. So it's not like something that comes to me that I wake up very good that day and all these ideas comes to me. It's just something that consistency that I've been doing in the past. And I just kept doing it and they just happen all the time. And it's like, but it's not inspiration that something natural comes to my mind and I create it. So I don't think that is something that relates to me. It has been more about doing things over and over and keep doing it, something that I feel good about it. And I try to keep it.
These questions are so great because we ask everyone essentially the same questions, and it just proves how interesting and unique and different everybody is, because we have different answers for all these different questions. And this one in particular is personally one of my favorite because the answers are always so diverse. And so thank you for sharing that. And it sounds like what inspires you, whether it's within yourself or others, is focus, consistency, and moreover, iteration or iterating. So just constantly working at something, staying focused and consistent and improving it and improving it and improving it. And your answer is pretty powerful too, because a lot of people have heard the term shiny object syndrome before, especially in the realm of entrepreneurship, and how to try and avoid shiny object syndrome, which is, taking your attention off in 1,000 different places and channel and focus that energy onto maybe one craft. So anyway, very, very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, last question, conversation starter for you, Marilyn, is centered around wisdom, tips, lessons, advice. Sometimes people like framing the question, I'll give you my advice. It's worked for me, it'll work for you, kind of thing. And other people say, well, I'm not going to give you advice, but I'll just tell you what I've learned and maybe it'll help you, kind of thing. So are there any wisdoms, lessons, tips, or advice that you can share with people listening? They might be folks who are like you, who are running a business, they're growing the business, but you also might be speaking to folks who were like you in the past. You had a 9 to 5 with a burning passion. So you're speaking to a wide swath of folks, but is there any wisdom, tips, lessons, or advice that you'd like to share as we leave here?
Yes. For me, and that has been very valuable, and not just for the business and also for my personal life. If you need help, ask for help. If you have something to say it, no matter what. Like if you're not gonna hurt a person by saying something, say it. And if you need help, and I've done it because when I started the business in the past, I was lost. Like I was an immigrant. I didn't know anyone in here. And I was starting, all what I built in the past was into this electrical trade business or industry. And that is all what I knew, a bunch of guys and doing these things. And I just didn't know what to do. I was very lost. Like I have no clue. And I just was looking online a few companies that I knew or that I was trying their products so they were local. And I just reached out and I was like, hey, this is me. I am new. And would you like to go for a coffee? And I would like to hear about your story, what you are doing, things like that. So some of them might say no, but there is one that says yes, always. And that is how it started, like how I got her advice in this case from Lindsay from Timber Cultures. That was one of the persons that I reached out at the beginning. And yeah, she didn't know who I was. And I was like, yeah, we went for a drink. And it was great. I got like great advice from her. And since then I started meeting a bunch of people, my business coach, everything. So I was like, okay, I just needed to ask. And even today, I just go, I am not very active on social media on LinkedIn, but I know the people that I am connected with. So I just message them if I need to ask something. I lost the fear to not ask. So I just do it. If I need it and I know a person who might know the answer, I just ask. So that is, don't be afraid of it. Just do it.
Well, it's a saying I've heard before, and it's fitting because I think it's Spanish. I could be wrong, but basically, what you're saying is your ego is not your amigo, and
Yeah.
if yeah, and if you have something to say, say it, and if you need some help, ask for it. So that's incredible. So okay, Marilyn. So before we let people know where they can drool and order and all of that stuff online and on your Instagram, is there anything in today's conversation that came up that you'd like to go back to, or maybe anything that we missed, or any type of a message or person that you want to speak to before we let you know, before we let you go?
No, I think that they covered the main things that I could say about my business. I'm still working in a few projects, but yeah, it's still in the process, so I don't have much to show, and I want to work on that first. And yeah, I think that I covered the basics.
Okay, great. So everybody who's listening, if you'd like to, like we said, drool, but also order and all of that good stuff, you can find out more online. PanelaLemon.com. I'll spell it out. It's Panela lemon, LEMON.com, PanelaLemon.com. And it's the same on Instagram at Panela Lemon. So thank you so much, Marilyn. Everybody, thank you so much for being here and joining us and listening in on another episode of Veg Networking Canada. This has been a great conversation with the founder of Panela Lemon, Marilyn Cordoba, and we look forward to our next episode. And until then, take care. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.